Hey, fans of the Monday Movie Club. This week, we continue our Halloweeny October thing with Mark's selection, the original Scream from 1996, which is the cast is right there.
I think every time we mention the title, we should all scream together.
There's been 5 other Screams since then.
Oh!
And Scream number 7 is on the way next year. I'm Frank Gaffney, with us always Joel Fenster. Hi, Joel. Do you have any Scream things?
No, we just got home from Vermont, and I'm tired. And
All right. Mark Wotitz Gartner and the cast. Golf Cringer and Goldfuck.
Hello.
With a smile. Annie King, who's at her brother's house now, just came back from where, Annie King?
Asheville,
Nashville, North Carolina. Is it okay? Okay, Mark, why Scream? Is it because that's the reaction of all the girls you've ever been with?
Pretty much. No, it's because this has become my favorite Halloween movie. Favorite thing, if I had to pick one movie only to watch, I will watch.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Favorite Halloween movie? Anybody else?
Number two is Halloween.
I like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Beetlejuice.
Ernest Scared.
Nightmare Before Christmas, doesn't that count?
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Oh, all right.
What We Do in the Shadows.
That's a show, not a movie.
It's a movie before it was a show.
That's right. It was a movie too.
All right, here's the plot. Set in the fictional town of Woodsboro, California, Scream's plot follows high school student Sydney Prescott and her friends who, on the anniversary of her mother's murder, first anniversary, becomes the target of a costume serial killer known as Ghostface. Let me just say this about that. We had at City Hall in Largo, they were giving away trick-or-treating for kids, so kids could come in costume and get candy. The amount of children dressed up as Ghostface was very disconcerting because that is an R-rated movie.
When my boys were in elementary school, we saw the same thing, and I was like, "This is an elementary school. Why are there like It was like Elsa, Ghostface, Elsa."
Not right. That is some bad parenting right there. All right, so this really was a game changer for the slasher film. Directed by Wes Craven, who certainly knows his way around a horror film. Written by Kevin Williamson, who would go on then to create Dawson's Creek and write I Know What You Did Last Summer. And he was part of Scream 2 and Scream 4. And he's actually directing the next one, Scream 7, with Neve Campbell returning as Sydney Prescott. All right, here's the backstory. So Kevin Williamson was a struggling writer trying to get any project off the ground, and he was actually inspired by a series of murders by the Gainesville Ripper. And he wrote this satirizing the slasher genre, which has been kind of waning a little bit by the 90s. All the Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. And originally he called it Scary Movie, but he who shall not be named decided that people would think that was a comedy, and so they changed it to Scream.
Just 1 second. There's a lot of he who shall not be named running around these days. So
yeah, there's only one at Miramax.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that was the one we were talking about.
Weinstein?
You say his name 3 times, they let him out of jail.
He has cancer. I hope he dies. No, that's terrible.
No, you're okay with that.
Okay. So this script got a few bids, and Miramax decided, okay. Wes Craven didn't really want to do it, but he too was on a little down spiral there, so he agreed to direct the film. And they got Drew Barrymore, and Courtney Cox was on Friends at the time, so that was a big push. So while watching the movie, I wrote a few notes, not a lot. Okay. It being 1996, there is a little stuff that makes it a little dated. Like they have 1-900 numbers for that. Now you just have a website, Pornhub, I think it's called. And then they're watching a video, so 1990s.
I loved when they kept saying your cellular phone.
Yes, yes.
And landlines, am I right?
Yeah.
I still have one.
And but this, it really is there's a lot of very clever moments. Certainly when she's on the phone with him and he says, I want to know who I'm looking at. I'm like, that is some great shit right there.
Yeah.
That's a good horror movie thing.
Creepy.
Yeah.
And I know I said this about Silence of the Lamb 2 weeks ago, but when did the killers have enough time to fillet Drew Barrymore and tie her up to the tree in the 10 seconds the parents got out of the car?
Yep.
Okay, the opening was great, but it went on too long. I get it. You got Drew Barrymore, so you want to put her in at least 10 minutes of the movie. And quite frankly, and I know Mark's upset, where was the gratuitous nudity? Hello? Every horror
PG-13.
movie.
PG-13.
This wasn't rated R?
Billy saw Nev Campbell's boob, but we didn't get to see it.
This wasn't rated R?
I can't imagine it was. They only said fuck once, right?
Yeah, I think it's PG-13.
That's a
Okay,
PG.
but we did get Rose McGowan's nipples.
Oh, yeah.
There
For
is
sure.
Very much.
there is an unrated version of the film that was only released on Laserdisc.
Oh, wow.
And it's like a minute longer, and I don't remember the differences, but there's still no nudity.
So Mark, did the nipples do it for you? Was that?
It was all right.
It must have been pretty cold and dark in that
Yeah.
garage
That's what
because
chilly
our
in there, in the
headlights were
basement.
on. They were on. And I also chuckled when Wes Craven was the janitor. Not you, Fred. That was
Freddy
great.
Krueger. That was a Freddy
Okay.
Krueger.
That line was great, especially when he was wearing, the gray and red sweatshirt.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Very funny. But you could totally tell it was written by a gay man. Come on. One of them mentions the Richard Gere gerbil story. Come on. Only gay men would mention that. And the whole thing of I'm a Meg Ryan. No, Tori Spelling would be playing me. That's a gay man.
By the way, in Scream 2, Tori Spelling is playing Sidney Prescott in a movie called Stab based on Scream.
That's
That's
great.
That's great. And I know you're going to agree with me, Mark, but you could have played Jamie Kennedy's part with no problem. You are exactly Jamie Kennedy in this movie.
He's the good doofus. Yeah. That's me.
And again, clever again, when he's on the couch watching Halloween and the Ghostface Killer's behind him and he's yelling to Jamie Lee Curtis,
Turn around.
no, Jamie, watch out, Jamie. And his name is Jamie. His name is really Jamie. That's some clever shit right there. I also laughed at, you got to have a sequel. Very funny. But the biggest laugh the whole movie for me was, my mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. Oh my God. I laughed out loud. Wow. And again, I never thought I'd be so happy to be a virgin.
Yeah.
He created the whole thing, and then there he was. Very funny. And then at the end, he says it's like the plot of some scary movie, which was supposed to be the title of the movie. And so I think the ensemble cast is really the reason for the success of this movie. Nev Campbell is so good. She carries the movie beautifully. She's a capable heroine who manages to avoid the damsel in distress archetype.
Yeah, Frank wrote that.
Yeah. However, I have it in quotes. You could see right there, this quote. However, Courtney Cox is a little unconvincing for me as the tough career obsessed reporter. I didn't
Oh,
buy
she
it.
was fine.
Yeah.
But David Arquette was goofily charming.
It was so nice seeing them meet cute.
This is when they met.
I
Yes.
assume so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Skeet Ulrich, really the only cast member I feel that was able to really balance the parody part with a real characterization. I think he did a beautiful job. And like most horror movies, there are plot holes you could run a knife through. But here it doesn't matter. Because it's saying, okay, this is in every one of these movies.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that, he filleted her in 10 seconds because it's a horror movie, and they're making fun of that very thing. So in this case, none of that bothered me because there are lots of plot holes, like the gun at the end. So it really is quite clever, especially, even for the casual horror movie person like me, I got the joke. So it was great for me. So I'm giving it 3 stars. It's not my genre at all, but it is a fun one. And Annie, come on, not your genre either.
No,
Was it painful?
You didn't find it funny?
no,
Had you
Not
seen
at
it
all.
before?
nope. First time.
Are you gonna watch it again?
Nope.
Nope. Did you see any of the sequels? Nope.
Nope.
Did you
No
love it?
me.
Nope.
Nope.
And she's not dropping that remote when it comes on.
No. It wasn't horrible in a gory kind of thing. So it wasn't terrible. And it was a lot like, oh, come on, they're gonna do this. Probably because it's been so many years since it first
Yeah.
aired.
No, I think that's true too, because I think I said this last week. It's been parodied, this parody of this parody. So
Like
sometimes it's hard to take it seriously.
The movie Scary Movie.
Yes.
Right. Parodies this movie.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just not my type of thing, and I don't care for it. Although, like, I watch a lot of Criminal Minds, which has that kind of like, bad things going on kind of thing, which doesn't bother me at all.
But the Criminal Minds is more Silence of the Lambsy kind of movie.
Yeah, maybe.
It's more serious for sure.
Yeah, and it's got like some of the stupid gory stuff and so it wasn't bad. It was just that it was like you said, a lot of holes, and I'm like, how did I not miss that his dad was sleeping with her mom, or like, where did that come up, or
Yeah.
how did these things come about, kind of thing that
Yeah.
you only learn in the last 10 minutes of the movie.
But that is
It's
every horror movie, right?
That's not a plot hole. That's revealing, and I love the way
Yeah.
things were revealed, and we waited to see who the killer was going to be and all backstory.
Right.
Yes,
I
but and they did mention, there was a few mentions along the way of her mom being a slut.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
who knew how true that was?
Sure,
And
but they
that
laid the
could have
groundwork.
been false flags or whatever that term means.
Right.
Yeah, but it was like there was nothing leading up to that, where I was just like, oh, it's so packed, kind of thing.
Right,
Like,
right.
so yeah, no, I didn't find it horrible, even the filleting and the guts and stuff. That wasn't the part, but it was more like, stop talking to him on the phone. Just hang the phone up already.
Right.
Like,
Right. Call 911, bitch.
yeah, just
Yeah.
stop, and like
Yeah. But
Drew
again,
Barrymore's
it
poor
has to-
boyfriend, like,
it has to happen that way because
Yeah.
that's the convention of the movie. I mean, just the fact that she gets filleted and she's still holding the phone so the parents could hear it.
But
Yeah.
she's being
I
dragged.
think she would have
Yeah.
lost the phone at some point.
and like the whole garage door thing. I'm like, no, don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't go through there. Like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the garage door obviously would have some kind of mechanism to stop it because all the extra weight. But
Yeah.
you can't think that. That's the thing they're making fun of, the very fact that these ridiculous things happen in these movies.
yes, it was, and it was good enough for that. It's fine. I'm not going to see it again. I don't want to see any other one of it, and it's fine. So I would do a 2.75.
Not bad at all.
No, not
Yeah,
bad.
that is not a 2.75 review, quite frankly.
Oh,
I wrote 2.5, then I had to change it.
Yeah, it was okay, but there's no reason for me to watch anymore.
And you've seen it before, right?
no.
No?
No,
Really?
no.
How fun.
It is totally not my genre either. And it's not because scary movies like this scare me. It's because a lot of the times I'm like, oh, you're ready. Let's move on. Let's go. So they just kind of bore me. So I had never seen it. And the funny thing is when number 6 came out, was it this year? it was playing across the street, and I thought I really need to start watching all these. And I almost did watch 2 today, but I went to the Bear instead. But maybe I will watch them all, especially if they're making a 7. We'll see what happens. But the funny thing is, you mentioned, Frank, you just mentioned the movie Scary Movie, and that's a comedy, right?
Right, yeah. I
I
think
was
it's the Wayans brothers, right?
Yes. I
Yeah, the
do.
first
Oh.
2, and then it changed and became Zucker Abrams, I believe.
oh
Right.
geez.
I think it just became Abrams or just Zucker. They had
Sure,
kind of gone
one
their
of
own
those
ways
2,
together.
and it got better.
I don't remember if I ever saw it because who remembers?
Yeah.
But I was thinking that this was more along the lines of Scary Movie until Frank, when you finally said Scary Movie, I'm like, this is the comedy Scary Movie. So I was waiting for the comedy to happen in this one, and it wasn't at all.
Well,
Well, hold on. There was
it
was more comedic than most horror movies.
yeah, I think it was very
But it was
Okay.
not the scary movies are almost slapstick.
yeah, they're silly movies.
Yeah.
I'll have to check one out. I didn't write too many notes,
What
but
do
I
you
did.
mean, like check one out of the library? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, sure. The Dewey Decimal System. I did write the first 8 minutes of the movie, which is how long it took us to see the popcorn go on fire. I was totally taken out of the movie because all I was thinking was turn the fucking flames off. And that's all I thought for 8 minutes. And then Frank, she with the phone, she was all scared. And then she at one point was like, no, So I was like, all right, she's in it. The only other thing I wrote, I mentioned the janitor. I did not realize that was Wes Craven. Oh, I'm recording my voice. Stop.
Yeah, don't do that.
Any movie that kills my beloved Henry Winkler automatically loses a full half star. That's it.
Now, I remember I read that the reason they killed him, again, he who shall not be named, said that it was too long between the murders. Somebody else needed to get murdered. And that's why they murdered
You
Henry.
kill the nicest man in Hollywood?
Yeah. I
Come on.
thought he did a great job,
It
Yeah.
was fun.
especially when
And he looks so
Yeah.
young.
he went over and touched her face. I'm like, wow, that's some creepy principle right there.
Yeah.
Right. I thought that too. You're right. And the only other thing I wrote was killing what's her name by raising the garage door was fabulous.
Rose McGowan.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so clever.
Yeah.
So that's it. Like I said, I'm not really a big fan because I find them kind of boring.
And she couldn't get out of the cat door because her boobs were too big.
Of course.
That's what killed her.
But I
think
love
Danielle
how he
said
But
the
I
same
really
thing.
did love, I'm sorry, Jamie Kennedy's whole speech about you don't do this, you don't do that. This is horror movie conventions.
That's why it's so
Because-
clever.
Yeah.
I
and
very
here
much
they were-
appreciated. Yeah,
Yeah,
I very
and
much
here-
appreciated that and seeing it actually then happen.
But I
also
thought
read-
a lot of it was funny how they like kicked his ass, like,
They are the worst killers ever. They are constantly
Yeah.
sliding and falling all over the place.
Yeah.
yeah.
So many times he was just like this. I'm like, just go like that already.
Yeah. And again, conventions of every other horror movie. The other thing that was funny when they were watching Halloween, I read, and he says, now here comes the obligatory breast shot. But in the trivia, it said that actual moment they were watching, there was no breasts in that scene.
Right.
I'm
PJ
like-
Souls had showed it just a little earlier than that. Yes.
Yeah. They're like, they are not watching the scene with the breasts.
And what I thought was no teenager is going to say the word breast. No way.
Very, very true. As a former teenager, I agree with that.
No, I'm going to give it 3 stars. All right,
They wouldn't say what, but he was being funny saying this is the obligatory breast shot. I think
It was
that's
a
He'd
tit-
say
it
the
was a tit
obligatory
shot.
titty shot.
Yeah, tit shot.
I
For sure.
don't know.
No way.
For sure. I agree
Breast
with
is an
Amy.
embarrassing word for a 16-year-old boy to say.
I don't know because he was trying to be very studious.
And
Annie, go ask your
I'm
brother.
sorry.
Yeah.
Goldfuck, what did you say? How
3.
3
3
stars?
stars. Yeah.
Yeah, I said 3 stars. All right, Joel. I assume you've seen all 7 of them.
I actually have not seen whatever the most recent one is yet.
6 was the most recent one.
Yeah, and I don't remember if I saw the one before that. I know I've seen the first 4.
And there was a TV show, right?
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Oh no.
And
Hey,
I
Joel, the new one started off with Jenny Ortega. Did you watch?
no, I haven't seen those at all.
You haven't seen 5 or 6.
Okay. I just couldn't remember how many she's been in. So
Jenny
And-
Ortega's in 5 and 6.
yes,
Yes.
but not in 7 because of things.
Nev Campbell coming back. They
Yeah.
had to get rid of 2 people so they could pay Nev Campbell the salary for 2 people.
Well, yeah. Let's go with that one and not the whole political correctness thing that got her kicked off the film. So
In the first place,
Yeah,
second
yeah.
place.
Second place.
so anyway, yeah, I would have tried to cram through all of them, but it was a busy week. So I only watched. I was lucky I got this one in again. Hadn't seen it in a while. It's still a fun, effective example of the slasher genre, because we are in a subgenre of horror. It's not, you can't you can't say these are the rules of horror films, because horror films are a much broader category. But yeah. Anyway,
But yes, Joel, you agree with me? Game changer, because this was a
yeah,
lot.
well, yeah,
heavy on the comedy,
the
for sure.
slasher genre was in decline at this point. It had gotten very stale and repetitive. When I was in high school, and realized by this point I actually owned a video store, so I had things on hand that I could point to. But when I was in high school, I had a friend of mine, and I, after school, we'd go to the video store and we'd rent whatever horror movie we could find that had dust on it, and watch. I saw a lot of crap, but a lot of gems, in the process. But when it comes
this is Joel. When I owned a video store.
yeah, when I
think he's
it's still a fun film. It is a bit dated at this point because it's, there's so much that's come after it that's kind of that type of film is kind of, again, has evolved or even waned again at this point.
Not from the box office of all these horror movies now.
But they're different types of horror movies. They're not, again, I'm specifically talking about slasher
genre. Yeah.
So,
Joel, by the way, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, I was being funny, but I'm very jealous that you owned a video store.
Well, I didn't take it as an insult. So
okay, good.
I did.
Yeah. Technically, if you've seen my home video collection, I still own a video store.
I
just don't rent things out,
You just don't charge anymore.
I don't charge anymore, and I don't charge late fees, but I should. You
should. I don't have any of your stuff.
No, I know you don't.
Joel, I think I still have some of your stuff from 20 years ago.
You probably do. Although at this point, it's probably been upgraded to Blu-ray. And
you probably replaced it by now. Yeah.
So, I don't have much else to say. It's a fun film. It's not my favorite Wes Craven film by any stretch of the imagination. I don't even think it's probably The Serpent and the Rainbow, which I also which I also think is probably his best film. It is. It's one of those things that I occasionally like. If I put this on the list, how many of them are going to hate me? Because it is not. It's a film about voodoo with Bill Pullman.
I saw it.
It scares the crap out of me. And there's one scene. I'll just leave it at that. And if it scares the crap out of me, you know that there's a problem. So yeah.
Did Wes Craven also do that movie?
Shocker?
Yes. All right. So Shocker is one of the only films that I almost walked out on.
Really? I thought it was interesting.
Wait a minute. You didn't hear my joke.
What joke?
You said he scared the shit out of you, and I said, yeah, and Joel is full of shit.
Exactly. But anyway, I am going to give this 3 stars as well. I think it does, for the most part, stand the test of time, and it's pretty well structured. So
yeah, I like the snarky.
Sorry, honey.
All right, Mark.
Before I go to my notes, you just jogged my memory, Frank, when you said about all the kids wearing the costume. And I completely blanked on this until just now that probably in 99, 3 years after the movie came out, my buddy and his girlfriend, we went to a party. We had a group of friends that we were all hanging out together, and we went to a Halloween party, and I went dressed as a beat up white belt. So a karate white belt, and I had put on bandages and everything. But we had secretly, only the 3 of us knew that we were both going to get, me and the other guy, we're going to both get put on our ghost face we're gonna go change in the middle of the party without telling anybody, and then go running around after his girlfriend, chasing her with fake knives. And we did, and it was hilarious because we would do just like in the movie. I like jumped across the bed to get her and then fell over, which is exactly what they were doing in the movie. So it was a lot of fun. I just wanted to tell that
Question
story.
though, Mark. Are
Was
they
she
still
genuinely
together?
scared?
Hold
at
on,
first?
hold on, one at a time, Joel.
All right.
Are they still together?
No,
Yeah.
Was she genuinely scared at the beginning of it? Like, oh my God.
I thought it was fun because nobody if you're at a party and all of a sudden nobody new came in and all of a sudden two guys in masks with knives on, and she sold it. She screamed and ran out of the room because we were chasing her.
That's
It probably got a little bit like, what the, you know. It,
Right.
What year was this?
99.
I'm gonna say it was 99, 2000.
Wait, I want to go back to Joel for a second. So Joel, when you owned your video store,
Yes.
was this a movie you recommended?
It was very popular when it came out on video.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
All right. I'm gonna go
How
now.
many copies did you get?
Yeah, like I can remember. We had a lot. That's all I could say. I can't remember beyond that. Although I will say this about we had too many copies of the movie Gone Fishing, and for some fucking reason that was always out, even after it was no longer like new. It was people were constantly renting Gone Fishing.
What is Gone Fishing?
Joe Pesci and Danny Glover.
Yeah,
Oh, how funny.
It's
Never
gonna
heard
wind up on next year's list. Stop talking about it.
Nobody mentioned it.
Oh my gosh, that list is very long.
All right.
Marky Mark.
All right. To me, look, it's not a perfect movie, and I'm not a huge horror genre guy anyway, but to me, it's perfect as a Halloween movie. Deputy Dewey is adorable. Matthew
He
Lillard,
is adorable. Oh my God. he's
totally
so
adorable, with eating the ice cream while the other cop is smoking. He just looks like a little kid.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard is hilarious, and my friends and I would quote his lines all the time back when it first came out. It was big.
Like what? What line?
Like, I'm getting woozy here. Just stupid stuff like that. You hit me with the fucking phone, Dick. I mean, when you're at the time when I was younger, it was very
No,
funny.
I just wondered.
Yeah.
I think he said he gets a lot of my mom and dad are going to be so mad at me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And when it came out in 1996, it was fun to see Courtney Cox, who was huge as Monica at the time, play a kind of sneaky, bitchy reporter. The opening scene with Drew is to me, that is horror. It's almost, the calls are coming from inside the house type of deal.
Joel was Dressed to Kill before this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that Dressed to Kill does the same exact thing, killing her off in the first 10 minutes. Who gets killed?
That's Angie Dickinson.
Angie Dickinson, and she was a big name, and like this poster right here, Drew Barrymore is the star.
If you think about Psycho, does the same thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, Janet Leigh's in the movie. Let's,
Well, she's definitely in more of the movie than Drew Barrymore is.
Well, yes, but she's still dead within half an hour.
Right.
I
But
love that Drew did it. I love that Drew did that.
Yeah, and the thing that right here, I mean, she was a bona fide star at the time. So to kill her off in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And more to Frank, what you just said too, the actual poster was really her. It was her face, and then the others were like over here. So she was the huge star. And I think they did it probably on purpose because then you wouldn't know, you wouldn't guess.
Of course. Would not
and at
suspect.
those days, even though the internet technically existed in 96, you couldn't really IMDb it. You couldn't do all this stuff. So you would be surprised that she was gone.
Oh, yeah. Again, a very brilliant choice.
To me, though, the ending of that scene with Drew getting so close to her parents, but because she had just been strangled and she wasn't able to say anything, it's just heart-wrending. And then, of course,
it's like when the Little Mermaid didn't have her voice.
It's a little different. But again, and the same when the mom sees her and screams, that's heart-wrenching, heartbreaking. For me, it's the best part of the movie, that first opening 10 minutes. It does. I feel like it falls apart a little bit at the big reveal of the killers at the end. It gets a little silly, but it doesn't ruin the movie overall for me. And for me, it's a horror movie.
Well, again, we talked about the stupid plot lines that the video guy in the van knew it was 30 seconds delay, and then he opens the van door. Like, what are you, an idiot?
There was a lot of that. Agreed.
Because that's what happens.
That's what you
You have
do
to
in a
be a-
horror movie.
You
Yeah.
have to be an
Exactly.
idiot to be in a movie like this.
But I did appreciate the part with opening the car door. Right around that scene too, when I think Nev Campbell locked herself in the car, but he had the keys.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, like just kind of where is he going to go next, and then going in the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, and that is really the cleverness of this movie, because not only does it bend the genre, it also heightens it. Like it has new ideas to
Yes,
share.
yes,
That's fun.
and it still keeps that suspense. It's not just a comedy. It's not just a parody. So, anyway, all I was going to say here at the end is it's a horror movie, a parody of a horror movie, an ode or love letter to horror movies, and a comedy all in one. And I think it's all done very well, very clever. So for me, it's a solid
You know
3.5.
Mark did not write that.
I did. I came up with that in bed this morning. I totally wrote that.
Oh yeah, that's what you were doing in bed this morning?
Yes, that was.
So how many stars?
Yeah.
Oh, I said a
3.1.
solid 3.5 stars for me.
Okay. That makes sense. And you chose it. And how many times have you seen it?
For the last 20 years, 30, oh geez, 28 years. I don't know. I'm gonna say 10, 9, 10, probably.
Right. This was only my second time seeing this movie.
I know. Yeah.
I still liked it. I did like it. Okay. Are we done? Any last final thoughts? Amy didn't look up any trivia? Nothing.
Oh, what was I supposed to look up? Oh, the bingo.
Yeah, could you look that up?
Sure.
I want to know before we leave. Okay. Scream is on Max. If you subscribe to the streaming service, you could rent it from Vudu for $2.99. But this is the most important part of it. It's number 828 on the Franken list.
That's not bad at all.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
So I have 1,001 movies. So now I just checked off one. Thanks, Mark.
Perfect. You're welcome.
I will send you the entire list so you could pick your movies from that next year.
Okay.
So I could kill birds.
I have at least one movie that is definitely not on your list. And Joel has 9.
At least.
Yeah, exactly.
At least.
Okay, next week, Joel picks Stand By Me. Does that count as another Halloween movie? It is a Stephen King, right?
It is Stephen King, but it's not really a horror film.
Oh, I don't think it is. It's got scary parts for sure.
It's got scary parts, but it's definitely not a horror film. And it's and we'll be past Halloween anyway at that point. So it's definitely a fall film.
It's
Okay.
definitely a coming of age film.
And that is on Netflix.
Yep.
That's it. I'm Frank Gaffney. Happy Halloween. Go watch a movie.
Also with you.